Hey guys, it's Oxide Online, and today I'm going to be talking about Arena Breakout Infinite, but more specifically, I have a challenge today that I want to do. How many runs will it take only using a knife and a composite case to make 1,000,000 Koen? Because I'm sick of losing my kits. Bullets are expensive, guns are expensive, armor is expensive. Most of my runs ended up like this. In fact, there was only one successful run, and I learned a lot of things along the way, and I want to share some of that with you today. Some things up front I want to talk about, and to get out of the way so we can get the rest of the video rolling is, yes, I do have a composite case that I purchased with microtransactional monies because I am a bad person. Some would argue that my composite case is bad because it's a performance-based microtransaction and it affects direct in-game play, and I get it. So I'm sorry, I did it. Now let's get into the video. Some questions I had going into this was, is a composite case worth it? Is it more cost-effective to run a knife in a composite case? Is it possible to even get kills doing this? Some of the answers to the questions might actually surprise you. Constraints and controls I did for this experiment were only spawn in with a knife and a composite case. Stop. So I know you can see keys right here, but I didn't use them. I just had them in my pocket. You gotta trust me, bro. No using keys. And since this was kind of a zero to hero type of video, I thought to myself, if you kill a militant or a player, you can take their gear and you can get out using it. I had some problems with trying to kill militants, mainly because my skill sucks, but also because, well, if you didn't dodge properly, you get shot, especially with a shotgun, and you'd be left with half your limbs and you'd be bleeding out. And since you don't have meds, you really can't fix it, so you'd be running around the map just bleeding out, being loud, and attracting players. So once I did get killing militants down, that wasn't so much of a problem anymore. You just have to understand they're aiming and try to rotate around and dodge, jump, do whatever. Just confuse them with your movements. I mean, once you've mastered knifing a militant, it was just now a problem of trying to get a drop on a PMC or getting that kit and trying to use it appropriately to get that PMC's gear. And I'm going to tell you right now, during the course of this experiment, I got 0 player kills. I think I'm just bad. You might be able to get one, but I couldn't do it. It eventually became death after death after death. But then there was a glimmer of hope. Loot started to pour in. Money was being made. The loot didn't just randomly show up into my inventory. This was planned, this was methodical, and this was with the insight knowing that I am going to die a lot. This method is basically you'll spawn into farm, and depending on the spawn will dictate where you want to go. For me, if I spawned here, I ran straight to motel every time. I may have died to the boss here and there, but most importantly, the loot was good there. If I spawned here, I went to the grain trade factory center area, this little place, because you only have a limited amount of time to get the loot, put it into your inventory, and then die. And some of you might be asking, well, why didn't you go to Valley? Probably I would have had better loot runs out of Valley. I probably could have had different ways of killing, different ways of hiding. And to that I say, yeah, probably. Yeah, that's not wrong. I didn't think of it at the time. I just kind of did it on farm, so... Now, the worst possible spawn you can get is here, and the reason for that is when you spawn, you have this long run in, and there's a team that spawns closer to the grain trade center, and you have to fight through 2 to 3 militants just to even get inside, and that's assuming you didn't get shot by one of them coming in, or you've alerted the team, and it's not fun. Also, I may have forgot how much it cost to heal up, so I just kind of guesstimated at about 3,000 a time that I died, which gave me an average of 2,785 needed for heals. So I probably should have been keeping better track of that for the final numbers if someone did care about that. Of the 14 raids, I had 1 extract, so that means 13 of that was deaths, and it cost me about $39,000 to heal up. So your initial investment's about $40,000. So with that knowledge, we can now extrapolate on that. Ultimately, I'm just trying to paint a picture as to like how this data is useful, because if you think about it, a composite case costs you $10 for 30 days. Results may vary, and future warning, heads up right now, we got a lot of math coming in. If you don't like math, go ahead, skip this part. That's fine. If you want to stick around, more power to you. Knowledge is power. So of the 14 raids I participated in, 1 was successful and I successfully extracted, making that percentage a 7.14% extraction rate. In totality, 14 raids took me 50 minutes and 30 seconds. The average raid time, which is the time I spent in raid before I died, was 3 minutes and 36 seconds. The average income I made per raid was 75,359 Koen. My expenditure for the heals on average was 2,785. Using these numbers, we can extrapolate for a 30-day composite case. If I play for 12 hours a day, which I can, but it's also, we're talking like someone who's a hardcore gamer, nothing but gaming for 12 hours a day, you could reach 5,983.32 raids, so with a whopping 360 hours in game, resulting in 450,899,272 Koen. Using these big boy numbers, I can then answer the first 3 questions stated at the beginning of the video. Is a composite case worth it? I think if you're going to do this method, no. You're not going to have fun for 12 hours a day, and you're probably going to get really angry at all the deaths that you're having to go through just to make money. Now here's the alternative. Is a composite case worth it in the short term? Yes. I think for $10 you get to store something safely, especially if you're using a different playstyle. I think the jury's still out on this one. I think it's personal preference, but for me, using this method, no. The answer is no. Question number 2. Is it more cost effective to use a knife and a composite case? I think, using the data that I have gathered, mostly yes. And the reason why I say that is because while you are putting up real world money, which is $10, to get virtual money, you're not actually spending money on kits, but also at the same time you're spending real money. So halfway yes. Question number 3. Can you get kills? Yes, absolutely. It's possible. You can kill a militant, you can take their gear, you can use their gear to kill players. You could probably find a dead player body to steal their gear and try to kill other players, but ultimately the odds of success are very, very low, 7.14. So I'll say halfway yes as well. Jury's still out on most of this. I think ultimately you're only going to do this method for money. I wouldn't bother for kills. And well, that's the end of the video, guys. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and if you liked what you saw, go ahead, do the things. I'll catch y'all later.